Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of The Stoop here on Spreaker, as well as on StoopRadio.com. I am your host, Jonathan Ragus. Alongside me, as always, is Jeff the Shark Porrini. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Great to be here. A happy Tuesday night to everybody. And I am back fresh off my visit to the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival.
And how is that, my friend?
Fantastic. Anytime you're being handed multiple samples of all kinds of beer, it's just great fun to be had. So, time of my life, I want to thank my friends that attended with me and everybody that runs the festival. And one of these years, man, the Stoop will be there live and in person.
That will be nice, man.
That'll be fantastic.
Drink some good brew, hang out with some good people, and hang out in Atlantic City, man. It's always a good time.
Great time. Always a great time.
Well, you know it's going to be a great time. Tonight is going to be a great time right here on The Stoop, as we're going to be joined by a very, very special guest. Actress Dee Wallace will be joining us at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time here in just a little bit. So stay with us, and you'll get to hear from one of the most iconic actresses, at least in our minds, over the last 25, 30 years now. She's just been doing it all. So we're going to have Dee Wallace with us in just a little bit. Before we go any further, last week we were supposed to be joined by R&B singer Ron Anthony, and of course that didn't happen, unfortunately, while we were on air. Ron never got in touch with us, never called in, but we are happy to know that he was fine. He was unfortunately at a doctor's appointment for his daughter and running a little bit behind, so we were a little worried about his safety, but we're happy to report that everything is fine with Ron Anthony, and we couldn't be more ecstatic about that. And Ron will be with us soon, in the near future, Jeff. So that's always good.
It's good stuff. Glad to hear everything is okay. We were a little concerned that night, when people just disappear on you, but good to hear that Ron's okay.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into some topics of discussion like we always do here at The Stoop. We talk, a little bit of current events on certain genres and sometimes all genres. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about lots of different things going down in the news today. First off, auto market is down significantly, Jeff. We're going to talk about this because you work in the auto market. It's something you love. It's a passion for you.
Wow. Man, if you could just see the sarcastic looks on our faces. Anyway, go ahead, though. I'm here to bring my expertise.
There you go. So, the auto market is down. Pretty much every single brand, from Ford to Chevy to BMW to Volvo, they're all pretty much in the pooper. But Tesla is on the rise as it passed Ford's $46.16 billion with $46.67 billion of their own. My question to you is, you work in the auto industry, how big of a name is Tesla getting so far? Because you don't really see too many out on the road. You see a spattering here and there. Will Tesla become a household name eventually in the near future?
Absolutely. It's already a name that is being recognized. In the auto industry, you mentioned Tesla, and people will know it. People are excited by it. And it's coming down to fuel efficiency and, electric over gas. And, yeah, Tesla's going to be making their move, if not sooner than later. They have an affordable model. They got a Highline model. If you've ever seen it, it's just wild. You get underneath of that car, it's like no exhaust. It's all like a big steel plate underneath. And, I think Tesla will be a big player in the game, more so than they already are.
Now, my question to you is, should it be a household name?
I don't see why not. I hear good things about it. I haven't had a lot of experience with them, but I'm hearing good things from people that drive them. They like the way they handle, like the way they drive. It's an attractive-looking car. And granted, they're trying to corner a market, but they seem to have the best interest of the general public in hand.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. If Tesla had, some SUVs, some minivans, for the family, how much more would their numbers be worth right now, considering that they're only sitting at a sports car?
It's a good chance it can rise, and that's one of the things that I'm sure they're going to take into consideration. They've got to start to appeal to more people. Kind of hard to say what their market is right now. It's more or less the enthusiast or the curious person, but yeah, once they make their move into more of a family-friendly type automobile, I think their numbers can really jump.
Yeah, at Nasdaq, their shares are at $303 a share, which is
Wow.
it's big. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Their latest models are the 2017 Tesla Model S as well as the 2017 Tesla Model X. I'm looking forward to a nice SUV. Not a big one,
Sure.
but a decent sized one. Enough for the family for some nice trips. That's what I'm looking forward to. Will I be able to afford one is the question. Absolutely not.
Exactly. That's the thing right now they have to look at is
No.
the affordability also. I understand they're pioneers are trying something very unique, but they've got to, if they want to really grow, they've got to be financially friendly. And that right now is a big snag in the car industry. Talk about Ford, Chrysler, BMW, the whole nine yards sinking. Right now, affordability is a big deal.
Yeah, big time. So, are you shocked that the automotive industry is at pretty much an extreme low?
A little bit. And the reason why they said working in the automotive business, you see um, bigger repairs. The cost of repairs is getting higher and higher. The cost to fix cars is just going to be astronomical. So you would think people would be more in maybe leasing, a small monthly payment over big clumps of payments for repairs. But again, buying a car goes into the down payment, the monthly payment, and insurance. So there's factors back and forth. But if you're asking me now, I'm shocked that sales are down. Not at all. Not one bit.
Yeah. Does the automotive industry need to change its ways? Because when you go into a dealership now, you pretty much sit there for about 10 to 12 hours with these guys just dicking you around until they finally come out and say, well, you can't really afford this car.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be a. I kind of like what Saturn did. Saturn back in the day before they went under had the approach of no haggle. You walk in, and when you're ready to talk, there's a salesman. He'll talk. The number is what the number is.
Hmm.
You make your deal, and you go about your way. Now the haggle, the special features, and then the client wants this, and the salesman doesn't want to give up that, and then they go to the managers, and it's a long, drawn out process, and it gets me a lot. Um, I know when I lease my cars, I love the car I've got. The brand new 2017 Ford Fusion. There's a cheap plug, but but I like it. But I go in and I didn't really haggle, and my fiance said no haggle, no deal. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm in there to. I know what I like, I know what I want, and I get it. And the way I go, but that's really not the way. Everybody wants a special deal.
Yeah. I don't know if it's everybody wants a special deal, but like, when I go in, and I just did that not too long ago, and they're trying, and I told them, this is what I make a year. I have XYZ bills. I have, a son to feed, this, that, and the other thing. So this is how much as high as I can go. And they always went 30 to 35% higher than I was willing to go.
Yeah,
Why jerk me around? Just tell me, sorry, man, I really don't think I can do that for you.
that's become the big thing in the automotive industry as well as a lot of industries. Don't say no. Always be saying yes. And then they, like you said, you're leading into a false promise, a false hope, and it drags and drags and drags. I mean, sometimes it's got to come out and maybe that is the new age of kind of a straightforward approach where, well, we're very sorry, Mr. Ragus, the payments just aren't going to get that way. We appreciate you coming in. There's no hard feelings instead of
No.
saying, let me see, let me go, let me do. And a couple hours later, while you're saying, hey, I think we're going to pull this off, then they come with, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. You know what?
I would appreciate that more, considering the last time we
Exactly.
went to get a car, we told them, listen, we can only afford, I can't remember what it is, this is a few years back now, we can only afford about $250 a month in payments. So this is the kind of car we're looking for, and we're okay driving, like a Cobalt or something like that, just a little knockaround car in the
Sure.
meantime. Credit's not the greatest, so, this is what we could afford. And we went to a dealership that wasn't, it was with used cars. So the guy goes, I got the perfect car for you. Puts us in this nice car. My wife test drives it. She absolutely loves it. She goes, wow, I can't believe we can get this car for that price. It was $175 more than what we could afford. It was about 360 something. And
Yeah.
I said, this guy, why would you do this to us? What did you get out of this? You're not going to give. We're not going to be driving out of here with this car. So not only did you just waste our time, you just wasted your time. And we were
And
there
I
for
guess,
about 8 hours.
yeah, I guess the direction is to make you love it, and then make you talk about it. And then when they come out that number, they want you to think, well, I guess we can pull it off. And that's where it comes. It shouldn't be a shell game. It should be a very direct approach.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, find the cube. It should be, look, here it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tough wreck.
Based on what you make, this car is $375 a month. Based on what the minimum you can make, we can only go down to $330 a month. We cannot go any lower than that due to your pay structure. That's the way it should be.
Sure.
Not, well, considering you only make $25,000 a year, we're going to take $20,000 of that in a year and leave your family with no motor vehicle, no food, nothing. And I don't know. Definitely needs to change, though, the automotive industry. So it was a breath of fresh air to me today because I'm a big fan of the Tesla brand. I love what they're doing with the solar panel roof shingles, and it's going to be 3 times less the cost of regular roof shingles, which blows my mind that they can do this and make it solar panel, which makes, of course, electricity cheap to almost free to actually free. So that would be great stuff. So good job for Tesla passing forward today in the automotive market, being super down. All right, man, let's get into some sports talk. NCAA championship game. North Carolina defeats Gonzaga to win. You're shaking your head. I know you're not too happy about this. A lot of questionable calls, horrible reffing. Bring us into this game because you know me, I'm not a big college sports guy.
I still remember last year's game. It was yesterday. Small town school Villanova beating mighty North Carolina, win the championship. And you can almost hear the balloon pop for the big boys, ESPNs and all your sports talk. And even after the game, well, Carolina should have did this, Carolina should have done that. They didn't win the game.
Yeah.
This year, the second the game ended, poor Gonzaga, little Gonzaga, had an amazing season, only 1 loss. I give big props to their coach, Mark Few. Really put that team on the map. Gonzaga's become a quality college basketball school, and it kind of fell apart for them at the very end. The officiating was terrible. There's so many bad calls, and I mean Carolina's like a bunch of beasts against these little guys. So it was kind of looked like a mismatch, but Gonzaga held tough. But in the end, as soon as the game ended, I mean, the sportscasters, it's, Carolina, and we knew, and last year they should have. And that was the great part. When I heard somebody say, should have won it last year, could have been back-to-back champs. There's the nonsense. Like, you got to pat them on the butt because they're a bigger college, and they don't want the little guy to win. And it seemed like they got the memo. The refs got the memo. No matter what, little Gonzaga cannot win this championship game.
Damn shame.
Absolutely.
I like it when the little guy wins. I think it's great.
Sure.
I think it's great all around.
Yeah. It builds a following for these schools. I know Villanova was a big buzz the last couple of years here in the Philadelphia area and the Pennsylvania area. And this year, they had a tough time in the tournament. They bounced out early. But last year was such a great story, and this had to be very similar for what Gonzaga was, and came so close. And I hate to down the big guys. I'm tired of the Dukes. I'm tired of the Carolinas. I like to see the little schools. So, it's getting more competitive. Next year, you hope to see a new fresh face in there as well.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is in the major sports, too. You're tired of the big names constantly always winning and the little guys constantly trying hard and just always getting smacked around. But it's nice, man. I was really rooting for South Carolina. I was hoping South Carolina could pull it off and really just get into at least the championship game because I would have loved to have seen North Carolina, South Carolina as the championship game. But a huge congratulations to the South Carolina women's team for winning it all.
Yeah, that was big, really big. Especially, I guess Mississippi State kind of had their championship by beating Connecticut in a game that I watched pretty much the whole thing. I know I go on the air and admit that I bash women's sports at times, but man, what a moment for those girls. So, yeah, they didn't win the championship. But they got the big win over UConn and ended that streak. So the women's side was some great stories this year.
Yeah. It was indeed. All right, man, let's flip it over to a little bit of NHL talk real quick. We don't talk enough about it. News coming out that the NHL will not participate in the 2018 Olympics in South Korea. First, let me ask you your thoughts on this. But second, what do you think of Alex Ovechkin saying he doesn't care what the NHL says, he is going to play for his national team at the 2018 Olympics? Do you think he has grounds to do this, and do you think the NHL has grounds to keep him from not doing it?
I believe by being a contracted athlete in the NHL, I'm sure they'll have a say. But I love a guy like Ovechkin. Here's a guy that just plays hard. He's a great athlete, a tremendous hockey player, one of the best in the world. And he's a guy that loves the sport and he loves being out there. And I think, in my honest opinion, if you want to represent your country and you want to go out there and play, it's the Olympics.
Mm.
It's rare. It's not every year. It's not every week. Whatever. I would love to see this little battle go on because I think Ovechkin can find a loophole to get into the Olympics. And I kind of hope he does. As far as the players as a whole not going, I'm a little disappointed. I started liking it. I remember a couple of years back when USA and Canada played for the gold medal, and I would go out to watch every game at the local bar and have some eats with my friends, and we would drink some beers, and it got real exciting. So I'm a little disappointed this year.
Well,
Or
you know,
in the future.
it's from what I'm reading. Rick Westhead put out a tweet last night, and he says sources are saying that the NHLPA's Don Fair told an agent meeting in Vancouver he expects the NHL to stop owners from allowing individual players to go to the Olympics. So it seems like it's going to come down to the owners. With Ovechkin, Capitals owner Ted Leonsis stated he intends to allow his players to compete in South Korea next year. So Ovechkin may be able to go, but it really depends on what's going to happen between the NHL and its owners. And if one owner does it, are other owners going to do it? And if they let them do it, how are they going to stop games during the NHL? Are they going to bring players up from the minors?
That's where the problem lies now. If some players will go and some won't, you definitely, as an owner of a team, I'm not going to watch my Ovechkin type player leave, and now I've got to go 2 weeks without him. And I'm going to bring in Bill Smith from the minors, who's 28 years old and has never played a pro game in his life, and I got to stick him in at center and hope to compete. So it's got to be a league-wide decision. It's either everybody goes and you stall the league, or nobody goes and you play on. So I think leaving it to the owners for their discretion is not the best answer. You got to have a league-wide decision. It's either yay or nay.
That'd be interesting. Oh, there goes our mascot Henry back in studio tonight, having good old times with Henry here.
Yep, he likes to visit the studio. He's excited for Dee Wallace tonight.
We all are. That we all are. And once again, our very special guest, actress Dee Wallace, will be joining us in around 15 to 25 minutes. So if that's what you're looking for, she'll be here real soon. We promise you that. So let's get into a little football now, man. We got some news coming out today. A little shocking. I know you were shocked. I know I was shocked. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo, who we thought was going to be released and possibly signing with the Houston Texans or maybe even going to the Denver Broncos, he's officially hanging up his cleats. And guess what? He's going to CBS as a broadcaster. What do you think of that?
I've been kicking this around in my head all day since I heard it, because I know it's going to be a topic on the show tonight, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I understand his safety. He's had health issues the last few years, and when Dallas talked about letting him go, I started to get excited. I said, I'd love to see Tony Romo go somewhere, win big, and really stick it to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped and thought to myself, why? Like, what has Tony Romo done so legendary? He hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Guy's barely won any playoff games. He doesn't have a tremendous career stat sheet. He got more hype being a Dallas Cowboy quarterback. If this is the end of the line for him, so be it. He's got opportunities if he wants to play. And then I heard this briefly. I was listening to some sports talk. I heard Howard Eskin, a local sports commentator here in Philadelphia, saying that Romo said he's 99% sure he's hanging it up. Let's say he keeps in shape in the offseason, goes to CBS, and after a week or two, Dak Prescott breaks his leg.
Yeah.
And Dallas says, hey, Tony, we need somebody who can come in and run this offense. Think he can get in game shape, maybe come back. Mm-hmm. What does he do? Is he free to walk from CBS? Does he leave his job and go back to being a quarterback? It's weird. He still has the ability to play, so it's kind of up in the air. And then the other thing to worry about is he's too fresh out of the game to instantly start being critical of current players.
I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly, especially since he's only played in 5 games in 2 seasons. He sits around for a season, you know, he's still there in age, man. He can come in at 37, 38 years old and give the Texans a season or two.
Agreed. Yeah. So
You know,
it's. I'm a little surprised that I think, like I said, I think he had a good run in him. And the Houston Texans we've seen last year, the way as good as their defense got, they've got some quality wide receivers. They've got a running game together. That is a team that can compete.
hmm
Maybe Romo could have been the missing piece, but we've been talking about lately health issues. Maybe he says, you know what, I can't afford to get that one last shot that's going to hurt me that badly. So
yeah, he said the interest is mutual between him and the Texans, and if broadcasting just doesn't work out, he's willing to give it a whirl with the Houston Texans. I just don't see the Texans sitting around and waiting for him because they have a season that needs to be played.
yeah, they already made the move to unload Brock Osweiler, so now I guess it's currently Tom Savage's team.
Tom Savage.
I don't see him as the answer. He was okay last year, but he's not the answer. And you can't just pluck a quarterback off trees. We've seen this.
hmm
So if he's going to be the answer, if it's Savage to go with the season, you just got to go ahead with it and tell Romo, thanks, but no thanks. You look in the booth and you got to look elsewhere.
Yeah. We'll see how that works out, man. I'm sure we'll keep everybody posted on that as we hear things. So it's always cool to talk about your favorite Dallas Cowboys, Jeff. So
Oh, I love him. That was the thing. I actually got behind Romo once I heard he was leaving Dallas because you kind of wish he would find a way to stick it to him. But
even that, you know what? Too many people hate on Romo. Not even just Eagles fans. Too many people hate on Romo. And listen, man, the guy had some damn good seasons for the Cowboys. Sometimes it's not the quarterback's entire fault, but other times it is. So I wish him well. I like him. I think he's a good guy. So I know you don't think so, but I think so.
like I said, but I give everybody once you take that big stupid star off your head, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. As long as you're wearing it, you're an anti-Jeff. I can't get into you, man.
Anti-Jeff.
Anti-Jeff.
All right, man, let's get into a little basketball news here real quick. Knicks legendary center, Patrick Ewing, is finally getting his chance. Finally, to be a head coach. And it's going to be at his alma mater, Georgetown. He's got some big shoes to fill, though, at Georgetown. Yes, we know John Thompson hasn't been there for a while, and his son has been taken over. But it's still John Thompson Sr.'s team. No matter how you look at it, when a legendary coach leaves and they bring in coaches who don't fill those shoes, you still look for the coach to fill in those shoes. I've talked about this many times before, Jeff, and I've told you that I thought Patrick Ewing could be an incredible coach. I think he paid his due many years ago, being an assistant coach on many different teams, and he should have been ultimately the New York Knicks head coach. What do you think Patrick Ewing can do for Georgetown in terms of not just his coaching ability, but just him being there for recruits?
I think it's absolutely huge. And again, going back to Villanova, Big East, it's tough for the Big East. I think Patrick Ewing kind of resuscitates this Georgetown team. John Thompson Jr. Was a nice coach, nice to fill Dad's footsteps, but nothing really legendary behind him. But being John's son, so that didn't really help the team that much. They didn't get very far with him, and I really think that Ewing brings them back. I mean, you're talking about a legendary name, not only in college but in the NBA. And like I said, a name has been around. People were dying to see him get his chance, and now here's his chance. And I think he's got the ability to bring some kids in there. He could definitely teach the big game. He was one of the best big men that had ever played. So I really like it. And if he, in my opinion, of course, if he was smart, he would reach out to an alumni here and there, maybe an Alonzo Mourning or something of that nature. Bring one of them guys in as well, maybe as an assistant or somebody to help the team along and bring back the legendary Georgetown names to help that program.
Well, the Knicks ain't doing it, so
No.
somebody's got to do it. I'm happy for the guy, man. This is something that has been just long overdue. Especially when you saw guys like Derek Fisher and Jason Kidd getting coaching positions right after they retire, and barely retired players lasting even a season assistant coach before they were getting head coaching positions. And here's Patrick Ewing, who, went from team to team, did his due diligence, and, worked through contracts and was let go. And, we heard so many players say, if it wasn't for Patrick Ewing, they don't know how much they would have progressed professionally on the court. So he seems to be an amazing teacher in that respect, which, we saw that from him as a player, with, them bringing in players on the Knicks and when he was with the Sonics and the Magic as well. I'm excited for him. I really am going to be rooting for Georgetown. I hope he wins it again with Georgetown, man. I really do hope that. I think it would be such an amazing swan song, so to speak. Real quick, let's talk about your Philadelphia 76ers, man. Orlando Magic took a picture of a player they signed, and their whiteboard was behind the player. And on it, we saw a lot of free agent targets, some trade targets, etc., that Orlando Magic were working on, were written on this whiteboard, and it leaked online in this picture. One of them was them possibly sending Aaron Gordon to your Philadelphia 76ers for my boy, Croatian big man Dario Saric. Is that a trade you would do?
Absolutely not. I think Dario Saric has become the new love child of the Philadelphia 76ers. You know as well as I did, I was all over Joel Embiid. I was excited. I was dying to see this kid progress, and then another injury, and then we've suddenly kind of forgotten about him. And in his stead, Saric has come out and has played amazing basketball. And the whole town talks about him. The city loves him. I don't see him going anywhere, and I wouldn't want to make the deal. And I think even if Philadelphia was approached, they would look at it as a bad deal. They could trade other players, try to get maybe a guard play in there. Trading Sarge away would be catastrophic right now, and seeing what he's and seeing his abilities, what he could do. It would be a terrible, terrible move for the future of this franchise.
Yeah. And wasn't I right about him when they drafted him? I told you right before they drafted him, I said, watch, man, this guy is special.
Yeah,
I've
he
seen
sure
a lot
is.
of him playing ball over in Europe, man, for Croatia. So, great player. Now, going back to the Orlando Magic in this instance, Magic head coach Frank Vogel spoke with Aaron Gordon on Tuesday and reassured him that, don't even look into it. It's nothing bad. Rob Hennigan, general manager, said the same thing. Actually, before we do anything, we're going to get with our guest right now, actually. So let's do that. All right?
Okay.
So joining us right now is actress Dee Wallace. Dee, how are you doing tonight?
Well, what timing. Perfect. I'm fabulous. How are you?
We are doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us. We've spoken a couple of times on the phone over the last day, and I told you this is something that I was real ecstatic about, and so is our co-host here, Jeff Porrini, as well. So thank you so much for just taking the time out to be with us for a little bit.
Oh, my great pleasure, sweetheart. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, want to talk about your career in a whole first with the movies, and then we want to get into some other stuff with you. So, your movie credits are just a massive collection of some extremely well-known films from Cujo and the Howling to Critters and the Frighteners. Something that we were discussing earlier was, what have been some of your favorite roles to play?
Good question. It's an interesting question because some of my very favorite roles weren't my favorite roles to play. I mean, my favorite film, the one I'm proudest of as far as my work and what I chewed off is Cujo.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say it was my favorite one to shoot because it was so hard.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved shooting 10 with Blake Edwards, one of the first films I ever did. I had a ball doing The Howling because Chris and I were engaged, so it was, like we were off on vacation, falling in love, doing a film. Doesn't get any better than that, you know?
Definitely.
So, and I love doing the Frighteners. I had such a great time with Peter Jackson, and Christopher passed away during the time I was shooting that. So, you know, it's kind of like life. You have the yin and the yang, and you have to find the good and the balance.
Definitely. So is it like when you look at, you know, back at your career and you look at, you know, all the wonderful movies that you did, is it sort of like a timeline?
Oh, sure. Actually, the autobiography that I have out called Bright Light is an autobiography told through all the big movies that I've done and what was going on in my life and my spiritual journey along the way. And absolutely, I mean, I think for any actor, you can say that their work is the timeline of their life, you know, and then, of course, the birth of my daughter and my marriage to Chris and important things like that. But when I go back and kind of categorize my life, it's easiest to do through the films that I've done.
Well, it's just a phenomenal amount of work, and of course we can't forget E.T., which as soon as we told people you were coming on with us, they said the mother from E.T. They were, you know, so excited. You know, it's like there's just so many other things that you've done, but it seems that everybody remembers, you know, your face from E.T. So, you know, tell us how it feels today, you know, to have been such a, you know, to have been in such a big influential film like E.T. from the standpoint of today.
You know, it's our Wizard of Oz. It's going to last forever.
Excellent. Okay.
You know, my grandkids are going to watch it after I'm gone. It's, I think people remember me because they remember the film so well.
Yes.
That film changed people's lives. It touched our hearts in ways that films rarely do. And I think it just kind of lives within the soul of people that see it, you know?
No, it really is.
Very huge blessing to be a part of that film.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's amazing. It's, you know, just from, you know, from us growing up here, you know, on E.T. and all of these other movies, I've always found that, to me, you know, and I feel this, my most favorite role of yours was the Frighteners, of all of the amazing things that you did.
Great.
Yeah.
I had a great time killing everybody in the Frighteners. I did.
It was just
it
such...
was a great art to play, you know, from going from, you know, a woman who everybody thought was a victim to the crazy murderer. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was just an amazing flick. So let me ask you real quick. So I'm just going to jump off base because this is something we talk about here a lot, is remakes and reboots. And over the course of probably the last 30-something years now, maybe 25, we've always heard of a possibility of an E.T. 2. Do you think that could, if it did happen, do you think it could be as influential as the first one, or it could be even as big as the first E.T. if that ever happened?
You know, I don't think it's in the cards. I mean, I think Spielberg could do anything he wanted to do. And could he make another incredible one? Yes. But it would have to be, you know, it would have to be a whole new story and a whole new takeoff and probably a whole new cast. I mean, the dog's dead, the kids are grown, and I'm the only one that looks kind of sort of like I used to look when we did the film. So I don't know. You know, I mean, if it were, I would like, well, first of all, I would like there not to be a sequel.
Yes.
And secondly, if there is a sequel, I would love for it to be with Henry and his son.
Oh, okay.
Or daughter, as the case may be, that E.T. comes back, you know, to see Henry.
Yeah. I vote
And then,
no
of course,
sequel.
we could all have a nice reunion.
Well, you can do that without a sequel. You can all just get together because, seriously, I vote no sequel. Because to me, when you have perfection, and we see that with a lot of reboots and remakes, to me, it's hard to touch a movie that was just flawless.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The only remakes that got close to being brilliant were The Godfather for me. I mean sequels,
Yeah.
But like they redid The Hills Have Eyes. Wasn't even close to the.
That was terrible.
It just became a slasher film.
Yeah.
And somebody told me a couple of months ago they're redoing Cujo. I went,
Yes.
well, good frickin' luck with that, dude. It's going to all be CGI. It's not going to be at all like, working with the real dogs. But then when I looked it up, they were just using the letters. It was like C period, U period, and it stood for some kind of war thing. It wasn't at all the story of Cujo, so they weren't remaking it. They were just capitalizing on something that was close to the name.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, it's nice to have a sequel, but from a big blockbuster like that, no, I don't think so. Let it be a classic. Let it stand on its own.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But if Spielberg's 90 and he goes, "Hey, I want my last shot," I can see why he'd want to redo that.
Absolutely. Do you think that if there was to be a sequel, that after a certain amount of time, that time is just passed, like it should have been done within a few years of E.T. or even up to 10 years, and after that, pretty much a no-go?
I would say that about most films, but not about E.T. When I go out to do personal appearances, I'll have a 4-year-old and a 90-year-old at my table within 10 minutes. I mean, it's just been passed down and passed down and passed down. So we have a whole new group of kids who are seeing it for the first time and keeping the fan base expanding. And that's what I mean. It's our Wizard of Oz. It's going to go on like forever.
Couldn't agree more with that at all. So, between drama, horror, comedy, some family film type things, is there a role that you have yet to try that you would love to get your hands on?
Don't laugh. I've always wanted to play a nun.
Okay.
And I don't know why. Maybe it's a past life thing. I don't know, but I'm so interested in the different levels of consciousness that people in a strict religious order have to deal with and have to look at and have to keep questioning about in order to be human and moral and at the same time be representing the greatest religious figure on earth. So I'm just fascinated with that dichotomy, right? And if I could find a good script like that, I would love to do that. I'm actually very good at comedy. I've had a couple of sitcoms on. Don't get to do much comedy, so I'd like to do more comedy. And right now, I'm talking to my daughter about doing a film with her. I would really, while I'm still at my prime, I would really like to do some kind of important piece that makes an important statement, of mothers and daughters and families and stuff like that.
That would be lovely.
There's also a script that J.T. Molnar wrote for me about a truck stop hooker that I've raised part of the finance for. I just love this script. It's kind of like a Leaving Las Vegas. And, really, really, really want to do that one. So there's a few for you.
Yeah, we were looking at your IMDb page today, and we see a lot of things in post-production, pre-production, filming, just completed, some announced. So you're busy.
Yeah, I don't like to not be busy. I like to be creating all the time. And I'm getting ready to go back on my series, Just Add Magic, for Amazon Prime.
Yes.
We're going to go back and do 10 more.
Very nice.
And I think I'm going to squeeze in a film before that. So I really love to be busy as an actress, and also, I do a lot of healing work. So I have a whole other business on the other. It's the dichotomy of Dee, horror, do a horror film, go back and do healing sessions. And I love it. They're all parts of me, and they're all parts of what I love to do.
Yeah. So let's dive into that. I really wanted to talk to you about that, was the whole healing thing, because I know you're such a big believer in that. So take us into how you found, the light within you, like it says on your webpage, and how you were trying to share that with people today.
Well, we're all born as a light, all of us. You never see a baby that's dark. Babies are just wonderful and fabulous and vulnerable and beautiful, and they know that they are and should be the center of the world.
Absolutely.
Until we, in our infinite wisdom, try to socialize them and make them smaller. And it happens to all of us.
Yes.
Our light gets dimmed so that we can be more acceptable in society. And I'm trying to get people to understand how awesome they are, and how incredible they are, and how they're meant to be powerful if they would just accept that power that they have of their own self-creation. And so that expanded when I had my acting studio. A lot of information. I actually became, I always was, but I didn't know it. And then I came to know on a conscious level that I'm a clairaudient channel, and which means I hear messages. Sometimes I get pictures, but most of the time I hear guidance where to go. And my strong suit is really to be able to delve into somebody's energy and find out where they're blocking love and empowerment from themselves.
That's amazing.
And I've been really blessed in being able to put together the puzzles of our life, right? So that people can climb out of them and go, I'm playing this game with myself anymore. This ain't getting me anywhere. So, of course, whenever you teach somebody else, you learn more for yourself. And so it's been an incredible journey of enlightenment about me, which I'm able to take out into the rest of the world.
And I read also, not sure if you're still doing that, your radio show, Conscious Creation, is that
Yes.
still going on?
Yep, every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, you can call in free and ask the channel any guidance you want about any subject you want. And if you want to know how to get there, just go to my website, iamdeewallace.com. It's on the homepage.
That's great. Awesome. And that's every Sunday?
Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Yep.
Great. So now, what do people usually call in when you're talking about guidance? Is it like guidance in something that's going on in their life, let's say, in terms of their job and how they're struggling with it, or is it more things with like a spiritual side or a mental health side?
Absolutely anything.
Awesome.
Why do I have a pain in this foot? Why do I why do I want money? And I think I'm doing all the right things and the money doesn't come. What should I do about this relationship that's abusive? Just absolutely anything. But I'm not a psychic, I'm not going to tell you you're going to meet a tall, dark stranger somewhere. What I do is tell you where you need to get your own energy in alignment so that you can create and accept what you really want in your life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We need a lot of that.
It
now
is.
because this world is just
oh boy.
wacky. The wacky
I
world
was
we
just
live in.
watching CNN and shaking my head.
That's why I don't watch it anymore.
Yeah, well, what I do is I watch it and I do my work around balancing everything. That's how I stay empowered instead of going into victimness about it.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's understandable. So, also wanted to ask you. I'm not going to say the name because I know I'm probably going to butcher it, but you created a lovely bear.
BuppaLaPaloo.
There you go.
BuppaLaPaloo.
There you go. I
That'll
didn't
be
want to
fun.
say it in case I butchered it, but tell us a little bit about how you came to create this wonderful teddy bear that teaches children how to love themselves.
Well, I've done thousands and thousands of private sessions and taught high school, had my own acting studio, taught dance, and across everybody that I worked with, the one thing that everybody has in common is that we don't love who we are. Mm-hmm. We judge who we are. We belittle who we are. We try to fix who we are. And so I said, well, that's the main thing that I want to do in this life is help people to love who they are more.
Love it.
And then I got really interested in brain science. And I started studying brain science and was floored to find out that how we see ourselves in the world and how we think the world sees our worth is pretty much set in our brain by 5 years old.
Wow.
So then I got, well, if we're going to make any headway into a world where people love themselves, we got to reach the kids. And what better way to reach a kid than through a toy, and what better toy than the iconic teddy bear?
Brilliant.
So I took 10 really empowering statements and I put it in one paw, and in the other paw I created it so that the child or the parent could put in an empowering statement and record it. And what you want to do is encourage your child to listen to the message. For example, one of the statements is, I love my body. And for the child to press the paw and interact with the bear and hear that and then say it back to the bear, I love my body. And I just got an email from a woman who wrote me and said, Dee, we were getting ready for my son's bath time. He's 2 years old, and he walks up to me and announces, Mommy, I love my body. And I had to write and let you know that the bear is doing its work. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. It is. It's absolutely
and,
wonderful.
I'm so loved in the world. And just, God, I wish I'd had the bear.
I wish we all had the bear.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
and a lot of adults are keeping it on their desk and stuff at work, so when they start going down into the toilet, they push the paw and hear the message, and it really does have a way of rebalancing you.
No, that's a great thing, because when you look at something like aspirations and you read it off of paper, sometimes when you're in the middle of something and something's going wrong, you don't remember to look at that paper to read certain aspirations that you wrote down for yourself that you want to read to yourself, but to have that bear sitting there, I'm sure that's just a huge reminder for people to just press it and play with it and really get it going.
Even more importantly, you build brain synapses through emotional connection. And that's why any form of play or laughter or feeling good, like playing with a bonding object for a kid or for an adult, is going to create a lot more powerful brain synapses than just rote messages, because the universe really responds to your emotional charge that you have around something.
Yeah, that's great. And how has the feedback been about that? Because I've read some reviews on it, and it seems pretty much everybody loves it. But from your standpoint, you being behind it all, how's it been?
It's been great. I love the response that we've gotten. I would like for somebody who really wants to put money behind something to take it out in a bigger way than I can ever do.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking for now.
That's great. Have you ever tried the way people do it now in 2017 as a what are those things called? Crowdfunding campaigns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did that to launch the manufacturing and everything of it. But the crowdfunding campaigns can't get it out as far as, like Mattel and Toys R Us and Walmart and people like that can get it out.
Yeah, that would be nice to see that in stores. I think a lot of people could really use that today. A lot of people, including us here.
That's why I did it, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. So, we're going to let you go in a little bit. Before we do, where can people go to learn more about you as a person, your iconic roles, this wonderful teddy bear, and your radio show?
Well, you can get a lot of information on my website at iamdeewallace.com. If you really want to read about my journey and find out about me and where I came from and what drives me, you'd want to pick up my book on Amazon called Bright Light. I actually have 5 books, but that's the one that'll tell you the most about me. The rest of them are channeled healing books. And you can, there's an amazing thing on my website. It's a past life regression that one of the top past life regressionists, Dolores Cannon, in the world did with me. And man, if you want some peace of mind, if you've just lost someone, or if there's been tragedy in your life you don't understand, I would urge you, it's free, to go listen to the past life regression and then go look at some of the webinars. There's a webinar on my site about just about any subject you need help with. And they're absolutely amazing, the information that comes through on these webinars. And you can go on YouTube. I'm all over YouTube. I am. You can find the healing, and you can find, a lot of interviews and stories about my movies, and you can just find me everywhere if you're looking.
Because you're Dee Wallace, that's why.
Well, thank you.
And we want to thank you. And as I told you earlier, last night, we're just big fans of yours here. So this was such a treat, a real privilege to have you with us, and you really are an inspiration. So seriously, thank you so much for being with us
you're
tonight.
so welcome. I'm glad we got it worked out, guys, and much love to all your listeners out there. Thanks a lot.
Great, thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
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 And that was the wonderful, incomparable Dee Wallace. She is just an amazing human being and just a total sweetheart.
Yeah, that was outstanding. But it just gives you a really positive feeling inside, a positive aura. She's so upbeat. I love the bear idea. I already got a couple of Facebook messages from people saying, they'd like to find this bear just from listening to the show and hearing what it's all about. Sounds great.
Yeah, we will actually put a link up to Dee's website as well as the website for the bear. I'm going to say it, but I hope I don't butcher it again. It's BuppaLaPaloo, I think, right?
She says it's so much better.
Yeah, she says it perfect. She knocked it out of the park. But we'll put the link up for her amazing website, which really, I was reading it this morning, and I'm nowhere even near halfway done reading it. It's such an amazing site of information about her as a person, her career, her wonderful husband, Christopher Stone, who she was talking about earlier, who passed away many years ago, unfortunately. Phenomenal actor as well. Just amazing information. And so we'll put up that link, and we'll also put up the link to the bear that I won't say again because I don't want to butcher it once again. But thank you to the wonderful Dee Wallace for joining us tonight. You can check out our website at imdwallace.com. And then also for the teddy bear, we'll put that up because I don't want to say the name.
Yeah, it's getting brutal.
It's getting brutal. Yeah, I'm not doing good with enunciations lately. Oh boy, sorry about that. All right, so we're in for a treat right now, actually, Jeff. We're going to be playing the first track from a wonderful comedian. Her name is Vicky Kuperman. She tracked me down and forced me to do this. No, she really didn't. She's just a wonderful, hilarious person. Her brand new album just came out this past Friday. It's called All Good. It's her second album. And she is letting our listeners hear the very first track of her album right here on the Stoop tonight. And the great thing about it is that Vicky's going to be joining us on April 20th right here on the Stoop. And I'm hoping that after I show her a picture of Jeff Porrini, our co-host here, that she does what comedians do and she just makes fun of you like we do. So it'll be fun.
Well, I mean, if you're going to show her a picture of me, she's going to be just stricken with love and hearts in her eyes like all the ladies out there. So, I appreciate it.
All right, so for us to get her to make fun of you, we'll show her a naked picture of you. There you go.
Yeah, now you're cooking. That's 10
fiance.
seconds that any comedian would love to have. Yeah, poor girl.
What are you, organ grinder playing music over there?
little chimer in the background there.
I'm just waiting for the monkey to start dancing around you.
He's here. He's in the background. He should be folding that laundry. There's laundry to be folded.
There's laundry to be done. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the first track from Vicky Kuperman's brand new album, All Good. And this track is called America, Huh? Here we go.
With no further ado, the one, the only, the stupendous Vicky Kuperman!
Thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm in such a bad mood. 3 people have already emailed me like, it's a cold day. I'm like, I know. When I planned this show in April, I didn't call fucking Chad from CNN. Be like, tell me the coldest day in November so I can make my friends leave on a Sunday night and watch yet another fucking comedy show. So America, huh? So how many people here have changed their Thanksgiving plans after the election? Just me? The landscape of the country has changed, but more importantly, the landscape of everyone's Facebook pages has changed. Am I right? I've lost about 3,928 friends since Donald Trump got elected. Because when you start fighting with people's drunk, racist uncles, I'm like, all right, that's where I draw the line. Bill, the comic from North Carolina I met at a festival in 2009 is one thing. But his ex-wife's cousin, who's screaming at me about entitlements, I'm done. So this is my second album, and my husband is recording his first because men are lazier, and it's proven tonight. It's proven tonight. Men are lazier. Oh my God. A year ago, I was at a Bernie Sanders rally because I'm a real fortune teller. I'm a fortune teller. Rub me for good luck, take me to the track. And I was muttering under my breath, the Clintons are going to do whatever illegal shit it takes to win. And now I'm like, I can't believe the Clintons didn't do the one thing they were supposed to do is Frank Underwood the fuck out of this election. And they failed. They didn't listen to people. They didn't listen to the working class. I'm from New York. Up until last Tuesday, I thought a Rust Belt was something you get in anthropology. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, but I don't have that much patience for people. You lost your factory job, get another job. I mean, industries change. In the 90s, during the day, I worked at a film processing lab, and at night, I worked at Blockbuster, okay? When those went away, I didn't join the Ku Klux Klan and set the world on fire. I learned Microsoft Excel, okay? Jesus Christ! At what price? At what price are we doing this?
There you go, and that was the first track off of Vicky Kuperman's new comedic album, All Good, and you can check her out at Vicky Kuperman, KUPERMAN.com, and Vicky will be joining us on April 20th, and she is my new best friend. She is the greatest. I like her very much. I think she's funny. I think she's spot on. Got to listen to her album because she sent it to me. Yes, special, Jeff. We're good to go.
You're special.
Yes,
Definitely.
we are. And if you heard jingling and running through that was Jeff running around the studio after his dog Henry, which was pretty funny. So I'm over here in tears. We're listening, laughing at the album, but also watching Jeff hang out with his little pup, our mascot Henry.
I like to bring him to the studio, but every once in a while he likes to be the center of attention, and he tries to get on the air. And me chasing him around here is definitely something worth catching.
Very excited. I mean, we just had Dee Wallace on, of all people. Who wouldn't be excited about that? Man, woman,
Agreed.
child, and beast. Just love
Beast.
it. Yeah. And then we got to listen to Vicky Kuperman's first track from her new album, so I would be excited about that as well. And another thing to be excited about, this Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Jeff and I will be here. But we're not going to be alone. We're going to have a very special guest co-host for the evening. The lovely, the amazing, and a very good friend of ours here at the Stoop, adult actress Rachel Starr will be joining us just to hang out. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. Maybe we'll talk about her career. We'll talk about some current events. We'll talk about, the lack of sex drive in Jeff here. We'll talk about everything.
It's going to be a first here at the Stoop. It's going to be for the first time ever.
Yes.
I will not be the prettiest person in the studio. I'm dumbfounded.
That is correct.
Very excited to have Miss Rachel Starr here. Something for the fellas out there. Get geared up. She's great. On top of attractive and all that other good stuff. She's great. It's going to be an awesome time here Thursday night, and we are going to have a blast.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of something for everybody. It's going to be something for the guys. It's going to be something for the women, because we're not just going to talk about all of our phenomenal sexual innuendos. We're going to talk about life in general. We're going to talk about some things that are going on in the world today. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a real good time. So that's this Thursday night, which I believe is the 6th of April. Yes, it is. 9 p.m.
April
Eastern Time.
6th.
April the 6th. All right. So join us Thursday night with special co-host Rachel Starr, and we're going to have some good times with Rachel. Coming up, we got some amazing guests after Thursday night show. Tuesday, April 11th, we're going to be joined by our good friend, Nick Arcade host Phil Moore.
Awesome.
We're going to talk some video games. We're going to talk about his newest television show. He's trying to be back on the air, doing what he loves to do best, hosting a video game show. It's called Battle Arcade. It's in crowdfunding right now, so we're going to talk about that and promote that a little bit. April 13th, Thursday, we'll be here with singer Ivan Edmonds. April 18th, Tuesday, with guitarist Bob Bordeaux from the band One Step From Falling. Heady metal is their genre of music. Not heavy metal, heady metal. And we're going to learn all about that. Plus, we're going to listen to some songs from One Step From Falling. Phenomenal band. Thursday, April 20th, we just said it before, and we just got to listen to a little bit of her just now. Comedian Vicky Kuperman will be here. Thursday, April 27th, Bully Busters founder Big Keith Bowen is going to be here. We're going to talk about some self-esteem issues there, as well as, kids and even adults being bullied to the brink of them hurting themselves to going as far as suicide. So we're going to talk about that. And then on Tuesday, May 2nd, we'll be here with singer Ellie Soufi. So we're going to have some great, great times, Jeff. Thursday is going to be the start of it all. Once again, as Rachel Starr will be our special guest co-host, man. Are you excited? Because you look thrilled.
I am thrilled to have Rachel here with us at Stoop Studio. It's going to be a phenomenal show. Also looking forward to all the great guests. And not to mention April 27th, which, as we remember, is Jeff's birthday. We're going to try and tap in a call-in line, and I want the fans and my friends, everybody out there to call and wish Jeff a happy birthday. Probably have to set up a whole 24-hour Stoop episode to fill in all those phone calls. Because phone's going to be ringing off the hook. We love, I know you love me. That's why I'm here.
Yes. So.
And I'm flattered.
The 27th is not going to be about Bully Busters founder Keith Bone. It's going to be all about a celebration of Jeff the Shark Porrini.
Oh, we'll get some time in for Keith. He's,
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, when I looked at the emails from Keith, he knew it was my birthday and he begged me on that day.
Yeah.
That didn't really happen, but we're really we do get great guests here. Dee, of course. Rachel's going to be phenomenal. We got some singers and guitarists. So we always love bringing new music, and we've discovered so much new music stuff that's all over my music library just from performers that have been here on Stoop. There's so many good ones, and actors, actresses, comedians. You get a chance to laugh. We bring it all, man. We really do, and I love doing this, and I love doing it for the fans. And I like now that we're getting more following. We got a great writing team. www.stoopradio.com. Go to the magazine. Tremendous articles. More articles coming in. New writers coming aboard. We're killing it, man. We're killing it.
Yeah, we got some new content going up real soon. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, we'd like to thank our very special guest from tonight, iconic actress Dee Wallace, for joining us. And you can check out her webpage at imdwallace.com. It was a privilege to have her on. Something I can cross off my bucket list. I got to talk to Dee Wallace. Not once, but twice, because talked to her on the phone last night, and she is just one of the nicest and most humble human beings. So it was great. It was great. I can't say that it was a privilege enough, because I can't even think of a word bigger than that right now, but it really was that. So once again, thank you to Dee Wallace for joining us, and you can see us and listen to us again this upcoming Thursday night with our very special guest co-host, adult actress Rachel Starr. Fun times are coming your way. And also remember to check us out at www.stoopradio.com for tonight's show, as well as all of our past shows. You can listen to them on demand, as well as listen to them on YouTube, Google Play, Sonos, SoundCloud, and a really big one coming your way real soon that we're not announcing yet, but you will hear about it real soon. So for my buddy Jeff the Shark Porrini, for the man beast himself, our mascot Henry, I am Jonathan Ragus. We will see you all Thursday night.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in. And this goes out to my little friend on Twitter. Don't be a douche.